Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Savage NASCAR podcast for episode number 12. And today we got a special guest with us, James Armas. He runs I Want to Believe NASCAR on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you for joining us today. How's it going, man?
Doing well today. It's a great day. Our listeners can't see, but it looks beautiful outside. The sky is blue. Not a cloud in sight. I'd say it's a great day for racing, if anything.
Fact show. We got a lot of topics we'll be getting into, but first I have to ask the question I ask everyone that comes on my show, and that is, how did you or where did you find your interest in the sport of NASCAR?
I think it really all started from, die-cast cars. My mom would buy me a lot of 1/64 scale die-cast cars when I was a kid. And I always liked them. I had like a lot of the cars from the 90s. I always remember I had a Ted Musgrave number 16 Family Channel car and a Darrell Waltrip Western Auto car, John Andretti 37 Little Caesar car. I had a lot of those ones. And it kind of springboarded from there. My mom pushed that on me, and then no one else in my family liked it. And then one day I watched a race. I think it was a rainfill race in 2001. It was a Busch race. And I just liked it. I was hooked, and I heard that there was a race the next day, and I was like, cool, I'll come back and watch the race the next day on the same channel. And I was hooked on that. It was really cool.
Awesome stuff. And I know many people, including myself, that also got a lot of diecast cars when we were kids. And I love going back and watching races from back in the 90s and when they broadcast them even on TNN. So growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, naturally your favorite driver was Jeff Gordon. Could you tell us how or why you became a fan of him?
Because he drank Pepsi. No, I don't know. There's definitely the iconic Rainbow Warriors look was eye-grabbing. But I honestly want to say when he went into the Flame era, that was really when I truly became a fan of his. Just that 2001 season, that's really when I gravitated towards him. Because when I watched the Cup Series, I really didn't watch a lot of races with Dale Earnhardt and get that perspective. So Jeff Gordon was the guy at that time who was kind of being pushed after Earnhardt's death. And I gravitated towards him because of that. And the success he had on track really helped, the fandom. I mean, he was winning a lot in 2001, won the championship then, and had success throughout the 2000s, so it wasn't hard to gravitate towards him and the epic flame car.
Nice. What was some of your favorite moments of Jeff Gordon's career, and did you ever get to meet him?
I'd say probably one of my favorite moments was 2007 was a great season, just because I really thought the Drive for Five was over and he could win that fifth championship, but just Jimmy Johnson came in. But though, in my mind, Jeff Gordon will always be an 11-time champion, because Jimmy has his 7 and Jeff has 4, and technically Jeff is a car owner on Jimmy's car. But also the 2004 Pepsi 400, that's another favorite Jeff Gordon moment because he just won that race and how late it ran. And I did get to meet him 2008. I did get to meet him and get an autograph, and that was pretty cool. But I do have a more funny recent encounter I'll tell you about.
Let's hear it.
So at Martinsville this past year for the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500, I was given like suite access through Blue Emu through the relationship we have. And the suites are basically shared with everything from broadcasts, spotters. Everyone basically goes up the same kind of pathway to get to the suite area. And when the race was going to resume on Sunday, I was just checking out the track. So I left the suite, went downstairs, and I was walking outside of the suite. This truck pulled up with some talent in there, happened to be Clint Bowyer and Jeff Gordon.
Nice.
And I was walking out with my girlfriend, and we just get shoved to the side by this like older female security guard, like, out of the way, like it's a big deal. And it's just Jeff Gordon and Clint Bowyer. I'm like, really? Like, I'm sorry. I thought the Pope was coming. Like, it's just Jeff Gordon and Clint Bowyer. And it was just so funny to see how they both reacted with the fans. Clint, very uppity energy, riling up the fans. Jeff, not so much. He just had his head buried in some notes. And that was kind of, funny to see the juxtaposition. And this guy you like idolized and looked up towards as a kid. And he's just like, meh. So I don't know, man. Jeff, if you're out there, maybe we can catch up over coffee or something. I don't know.
Wow, that's a really crazy and interesting story. I mean, Bowyer is a very outgoing guy, 100%, and Jeff, I guess he seems more reserved. I'll say that for sure. Now, going back to Jeff Gordon once being Jimmy Johnson's owner, did you ever dislike Jimmy, or were you ever salty that he would keep winning all the time back in his prime?
You know, that's a very excellent question, I will say, because people don't think about that. And yeah, there was a bit of resentment, I would say. And this comes naturally with any sport and any time there's dominance. You know, people resent dominance. They resent success. And I did too. I didn't like that Jimmy won all the time. I thought, yeah, Jimmy's taking Jeff's thunder away. Jeff kind of gave Jimmy this opportunity. And that was a very bad mindset to have as a fan. You know, you gotta, enjoy it because, things change. And, when Jimmy didn't have that winning success that he did early on in his career when he was kind of fading away towards his last couple of years in Cup, it really, dawned on people that they didn't get to see that Jimmy Johnson that I got to see when he first came in 2002. I'm fortunate enough to say I got to see Jimmy Johnson from start to finish in his Cup Series career. And that's pretty cool.
I definitely agree with your points. Growing up as a Jimmy Johnson and Hendrick Motorsports fan when I first started watching NASCAR back around 2005, I definitely remembered and saw how a lot of fans resented Jimmy. I remember even some of my family members would roll their eyes or get displeased whenever I mentioned him. Now let's shift gears a little bit. So you created your account on Instagram back in 2018, currently at almost 10,000 followers. Why did you decide to start social media, and what was the plan for your account when you started up?
Can't believe I've been doing this long. First off, I guess it started with a meme, like everything, I guess, in our generation starts. It always starts with a meme. With the I Want to Believe meme, which was made popular by the X-Files show and the whole I Want to Believe in aliens. And I cropped the flying saucer picture out and I put the photo of Kyle Larson's car because I wanted to believe that Kyle Larson was not going to be a overhyped young man and brought in the Cup and then thrown off to the side like so many other drivers before him. And that's kind of how it started. And then it's grown to be something where I try to express a lot of the things I know about the sport, things I like to share to people and share my love and passion with other people who have a love and passion for NASCAR, and to kind of cultivate a space for everyone to come and share that, and it's a safe place. Anyone from any background or form can come, erase all those biases. We're all here because we love NASCAR, and that's really the biggest thing I try to get across. As it's grown, kind of as you say, almost to 10,000 followers now. It's a good number. I didn't think I'd ever be at that number, but I don't chase a following count. I think really within that 10,000 almost we have so far, or I have, it's a great group of people, and I've met a lot of really interesting people who follow me and they love to see the content I post, and it's a brand. It's not me that's doing this. I've created a brand that now can just push that idea, and that's really what I'd like to get out of this, is to continue to cultivate that idea and just see something grow.
Awesome stuff. I agree with basically all of what you said, and you made great points about content creating and sharing your passion for the sport. Now, you also have a YouTube channel, in fact, 2 of them. Could you tell us more about your channels and what type of videos / content that you upload?
First, we'll start with Flashback. That was an idea between myself and Mark Urban, and it was just, we're 2 friends that wanted to come together and do a podcast, more or less just like looking back at old races and having fun and just shooting the breeze, really, just being bros. And it's kind of spun into something that's a little more consistent and pretty good quality, I must say. We just got lucky with the pandemic, honestly. We started doing our style of podcasts before the pandemic hit. So once the pandemic was in full effect, we were just consistently doing the same thing we were already doing. So we stuck to our guns, and I was very strict with man, we need to try to at least make a podcast happen every week. Because we love to do short format video too on the channel, but it comes, at a price of the podcast. So we try to make sure the podcast is weekly. And then with I Want to Believe, I'm just going to have more fun with it. The biggest thing I've been doing this year is what is known as Maximum Strength Move of the Race, presented by Blue Emu, and I do that every Sunday on Twitter. We create a poll. We pick 4 options from the race. We put them out to the people, and we let the fans choose their favorite moment or move or just thing from the race. And it doesn't have to be about a driver. It can be about the team, crew, whatever. And we make a video the next day, and we give them the maximum strength move of the race. It's a really cool award. I feel like I'm Benny Parsons with it, giving out golden bennies in the early 2000s. So that's really cool and nostalgic for me.
Who's your favorite person you've had on your podcast?
Has to be Bill Lester. I loved every minute of interviewing Bill Lester. I was wide-eyed and captivated. He was one of my favorite drivers in the truck series in the mid-2000s, and as someone who likes to see a lot more inclusion and diversity in the sport, it was a breath of fresh air at that time, and it was really cool to talk to him just about different things other than the same old, because we really were able to talk to him about really cool things like sports car racing and not just NASCAR, and he appreciated that. And we even talked about go-karts. I mean, that was so cool with him. That was really awesome.
Great stuff. Your account and YouTube channels have been really awesome and successful. A lot of people, including myself, love your content, and we are looking forward to great things for you in the future. Now, Bill Lester is a great and inspirational person. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook, and he's really kind to his fans. With my podcast, maybe I might have some drivers on in the future. We'll see. I mean, mine just started less than a year ago, so it'll take some progress. Now, I looked through other guests you've had on your podcast, and one was Landon Castle. I actually got to interview one of his pit crew members when I was back in college, and that was when Landon drove the 00 car for, at the time, Starcom Racing. Do you agree with me that Spire Motorsports having Quinn Houff behind the wheel instead of Landon was a bad idea?
I mean, that's a tough call. I've been a Landon fan for a long time. I remember when he first jumped into Randy Moss Motorsports, and also back at the time Morgan-Dollar Motorsports, and when he's in the truck series, still with the Hendrick development deal, and working with Chevrolet as well. I have always said, and I say this to the people at Blue Emu, if you give Landon a competitive ride, he can make something out of it. And to be quite honest, Starcom was not that ride. It would have been great to see Landon in Cup, but I don't know how much longer a driver wants to spend in Cup just being a field filler without any opportunity to rise up and get that next opportunity to get in winning equipment again, or just be in that spot. I mean, he's driven a lot of underfunded equipment and had really good results in it too. Ryan Vargas is really benefiting from having Landon Castle as a teammate, and the Xfinity Series is benefiting at having Landon Castle there. I would watch the Xfinity Series more just to watch Landon Castle, and when I know he's going to have that good competitive run, and just to see what he can do.
Interesting, and that actually leads into my next two questions, and they are, what is your thoughts about Vargas driving the Tik Tok car, and do you think Tik Tok is good for the sport? And what is your thoughts about Natalie Decker driving multiple races in the Xfinity Series this season?
Ooh, interesting two-parter. Okay, so Vargas with the Tik Tok car. I think the Tik Tok car is a good thing for the sport. It really allows TikTok to expose that user base and their audience to NASCAR, and we get to expose NASCAR people to TikTok and really kind of break some walls down. There's no offense, but there's a lot of boomers in the sport, and when you have something that is so polar opposite of the boomer generation, like the TikTok centennial move coming in, I think that's a really great thing. As a millennial, I always remember we always got knocked down because we're millennials, and it didn't make any sense. So, I think it's a good move. It's interesting. I know her performance in NASCAR hasn't really been there for a lot of people to get behind. And I know it's just very easy to kind of point out what she has done. But she keeps getting rides and a lot of people don't. So she's able to work deals really well, get partners behind her. She's very marketable. And that's another aspect of this game, that people want to knock Danica Patrick all the time because she wasn't successful. But you know what? She got GoDaddy behind her and she went cup racing. Not a lot of people, whether you're male or female, could say that about them, that they got to go cup racing. So, for Natalie Decker to do that, I think it's good for her and to build her brand, but it's good she's employing people, giving these teams money so these teams can show up and run these races, because that's how these teams have to budget things nowadays. It's very interesting to look at it from that perspective.
I definitely agree. So this upcoming weekend is Talladega. We got the Xfinity Series on Saturday and the Cup Series on Sunday. But before we get into our predictions, what are some of your favorite Talladega moments?
When most people think of big moments at Talladega or favorites, they always talk about wrecks or incidents. My big moments are when races go green flag to green flag for the whole race. 1997, Mark Martin. I believe that was the fastest 500-mile race ever. He won that. 2002, I remember that one vividly. All the Hendrick cars blew their engines, but the race went green from start to finish. 2001, Bobby Hamilton's epic victory, his final victory, his first win for Andy Petrie Racing, their first victory. That was epic. So I love those. Those are big moments for me. And then you got to love first-time winners. I don't care. People always will talk about them as one-hit wonders or anything at Talladega, but it's always a feel-good story, and Talladega is an equalizer. It presents the opportunity for anyone to get up there and get in the mix. So that's what's awesome about Talladega's opportunity.
Facts. And most people, like you said, would consider races with wrecks a great race, but I do have to agree with you about those three races in particular. There's a lot of close 3 or 4 ride racing, lead changes, and moments that kept you at the edge of your seat. Talladega is very unpredictable at times, that's for sure. I mean, we've seen crazy and awesome things happen there. A few that come to my mind is David Reagan's upset win in 2013, Jimmy Johnson edging Clint Boyer by 0.002 seconds, and I could go on and on. And now let's do our race picks, shall we? So, who do you have winning the Xfinity race on Saturday?
Oh, for the Xfinity Series, it's really hard to overlook the colleague cars. All three of those colleague Chevys are going to be tough, and they know how to form up and be a good team. So that's going to be an organization that you're going to have to contend for the victory. It's really good to see Xfinity Series regulars in there. I think Ryan Sieg is going to be someone you're going to have to contend with. Obviously Cendric. So I'm going with the Blue Ovals on Sunday. I don't have a particular one, but they just seem like the most uniform and organized group. Though the Chevy camp can really do something. I'm not sure. It'd be nice to see Kurt Busch get a W at Talladega, but we'll see on how that goes. What about you? What do you think for Saturday and Sunday? What are your predictions?
Looking forward to these races. We saw some crazy things happen in last year's ones. Hopefully we won't have any controversial finishes like in the fall, or hopefully there won't be anyone go flying up in the air. But anyways, college racing is a really good pick for you. I mean, they're really good at restrictor plate tracks, but I'm going to go out of the box and say Noah Gragson wins the Xfinity race on Saturday. For Cup, I was thinking about Denny Hamlin because he's had recent success at super speedways, but I'm actually going to be biased and say Eric Almirola. I mean, he's won at Talladega and Daytona before, and he hasn't been to victory lane in a while, so it would definitely help Schurhaus Racing and his team because they haven't had a good season so far. Alrighty, so we've reached the end of our show today. Thanks again for coming on, James. It's been a blast. And do you have any closing remarks or anything else you want to say?
Well, thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate the time, and be able to follow Savage NASCAR on Instagram. I know that's your handle. You always put some fun content up. I like your stop motion races. Those are always fun to check out every now and then. I really appreciate the time, and everyone be safe out there. Enjoy the racing this weekend, and remember, we all come together because we love racing, so don't forget that aspect of it.
100%, and thank you very much. And make sure to go follow James on Instagram, subscribe to his YouTube channels, which you can find in the description below. The links will be down there. Hope y'all enjoyed, and if so, please slap that like button and subscribe. We've reached the checkered flag, and until next time, I'm out. Peace!